Welcome to Explorers Emporium. Welcome, adventurers. Today we shall be showing you the process of making our artifacts of containment boxes that are used for Magic the Gathering and the different card games that are out there, as well as we're going to have another second box here that we're going to be making that we use for putting minis and miniatures into and dice, and it'll have a special tray that's there for you. And so we're going to show you that process today. Huzzah! Right now we are in the process of making the box. We're using a glow forge to do the cutout process. We used to do this stuff all by hand. So we would have a table saw setting with a little rig on it, and we would make each cut and so on. So piece by piece by piece. And there was a time that if you were 1/32 of an inch off, you had to start and make a whole nother piece. So the glow forge has made it a whole lot easier. Not to mention, it's accurate, so you never have to worry about any flaws. The only thing you have to do is learn how to design the SVGs so you can do all the cool cutouts and stuff like that. But once you got it made, it's pretty awesome. So right now the machine's cutting out the actual box pieces. This usually takes about a half hour to 45 minutes. We are making 3 passes at full power, and it's going just fast enough so the wood doesn't catch on fire. We're trying to go through 3/8 inch MDF board. The funny thing is that the cutter can cut all the way through 3/8, but it misses by about a 32nd of an inch. So you'll see what we have to do. Once this is all cut, the pieces will be almost cut out. But then we'll take them to a thing called a surfacer, and you'll see what we do there. Almost done. So that's the glow forge. So this here is the surfacer. You'll see that it's almost cut out. Look at that, we missed by that much. So all we do is run it through this machine here, and it basically shaves off. It's going to shave off that 32nd of an inch that we need in order to set those boards free so we can continue making our boxes. The nice thing is this actually creates a very clean edge. It makes it really like a very smooth and perfect. So now we're ready to go. So we'll do that with the rest of the pieces and so on, and so we have the parts. So this is after we've assembled one of the boxes. We traditionally will make the grooves a little bit extended. We like to do overlays sometimes, so we'll put a little overlay on top to create kind of a 3D image effect. But in this case, we're just going to take those down real quick. So this is how we do that. We just go through, put it on a belt sander, and we just quickly go through and sand down those little extra edges a little bit. And we're just trying to give ourselves a head start, and then we'll actually do a finishing process with the palm sander. So far, so good. So now we're going to hit it with a palm sander, and we'll do the entire box with the palm sander. This will give it a smooth thing, so as we get ready to do the finishing process, the stain and so on. So we use our fingers to see how wonderfully smooth and how clean we can make it. So we just go through and we just sand all the edges, clean it all up. I really like how the laser creates that blackened edge along the wood. We definitely leave that in place. It gives the artifact of containment box a very cool look. And yeah, we also leave the lid in there to help keep the shape of the box while we're pressing down on it, doing the smoothing process. Now we're just going to kind of blow all the dust off, make sure it's all dust free and clean. It doesn't take too much to do this part of it, but you just hit it with an air compressor, blow off all the dust, and then we're getting ready to do the actual staining process. But we will have to do one more thing on the lid before we get there. So here, when we do our lids, we could just drill a hole for your finger hole. We actually like to create a really cool burned hole look. So we're going to actually use a rock that's on the end of a drill bit, and we're going to bring that down, and we're going to burn the hole through, and it gives a really cool burned artifact looking effect to it. And you'll get to see that, clean it all up here, and I'll give you a real quick look. There it is. Pretty cool. So now we're going to do the staining process. when we do the staining process, we don't use a normal stain. We do use like a Watco oil. These stains have urethane in them, which is a hardening agent. And MDF is pretty good, but by putting the hardening agent into it, it really helps solidify that box. So it makes it a little bit stronger for everybody. So the stain that we're using has urethane. It's going to soak in there. It's going to harden up and make that wood box even stronger. It doesn't take much to do this. We just put the stain on, and then we just wipe it free of any excess stain. You just try to make sure you hit all the nooks and crannies. And then after we've done the staining process, the drying time's usually a couple days. We'll let it dry for a few days before we put a finish on it. Right now we're just going to stain the big box, and it's just a real quick process. You're just saturating everything, letting it soak into the wood. It doesn't take very long. I actually move this fast. I really, that's me in real life. Just kidding. But we just go through, we stain it all up, and we're on our way, and we just make sure we cover all the edges. So this part here is actually pretty cool. So we're going to go back just a step. This is where we are cutting the groove in order to insert the top and the bottom onto the box. So this is where the lid and the box insert. And so the nice thing is instead of just gluing the bottom onto the box like a lot of the boxes you get from overseas, and those boxes fall out, the bottoms fall out whenever you put your cards in it, we actually recess our bottoms and our lids into the box. That way they won't just fall free. And plus, when we glue them, it'll really help hold the shape better, and it'll make it a much more solid piece. Yeah, the glues are incredibly strong these days, but to rely on them, yeah, it's a big mistake. So here we are, we got our 4 pieces, they've all been grooved. We're going to do a real quick assembly for you so you can see what it looks like. And then you can see where the lid and the bottom insert into that. So when we glue that, the lids and the bottoms will be put into there. So here, we've already cut out the lids. Traditionally, I don't do the lid part through the Glowforge. It only takes seconds to do multiple cuts on a lid to make them all this exact same size. But once I've cut them out, we do the imaging on them. So these images are actually drawn by my daughters. They did a fantastic job. You'll see them on most of our artifacts of containment boxes. So all custom images. We also do, if you ever want a picture of a squirrel or a horse and things like that, we do those for you at the store here. Also, if you have a black and white image of a family member or something like that, a line drawing of some sort, we can burn those as well onto there, so we do custom work along that line. This is our logo and our address and such. So we do custom work, but we have a huge assortment of these images that you can put onto the box, and most of it's for the adventuring things like Pathfinder. But the Glowforge, this process is probably, when it does images, it's a little bit longer, so maybe an hour. Our little fancy logo. There we go, we got one more image to go. So these are the top is where the picture of the goblin is, and then the bottom is the logo piece and our address. But yeah, it takes about an hour. Pretty quick. And obviously we're doing 2 boxes at once, so that's pretty fantastic too. We could actually reduce the image quality and go faster, but we like this particular look. It's a good, clean image when this is done. There you go. Thank you, Glowforge. So the next part of this, these will be inserted into those grooves. We'll glue it all together. We'll let that glue dry. We'll do all the staining process, let it cure for a couple of days, and then we're going to do the polyurethane coating. The polyurethane that we're using on these boxes is a water-based polyurethane. The polyurethane creates a really hard surface on it, so it's really hard to scratch and cut and break. We do the water-based coat. The odor is way less with water-based polyurethane. The oil-based ones are fantastic, but that odor seems just to stay with everything for a while. So in this case, we're going to use water-based ones. That'll allow us to get them onto the shelves a little bit faster, and it works fantastic. It dries fantastic. It smooths fantastic, and it cures really well. And we're just going to try to make sure that soaks into every nook and cranny. So the same way that we did the stain, we want to make sure We get it into all the edges. We do try to brush in one direction so you don't create bubbles and things like that. You want it nice and smooth. We'll sometimes hit it with a 400 grit sandpaper at the end just to clean it up if there's any bubbling or any rifts and things like that. But we just go through and we'll just hit the whole thing. We would like to remind everybody to please subscribe to our channel. If you can like the video, that's super fantastic. Share it, wouldn't hurt my feelings. So thank you for watching, we super appreciate it. And here we are, we're just going to do the top part, finish that up. But we've done these boxes, we've done them for Kickstarters. That was our original start with them. We did switch to MDF instead of just using the different wood plywoods and stuff like that. The MDF seems to work just as well. The imagery is a little bit better. We liked the natural woods because it made it look even more archaic when we did the staining and stuff. It had some really cool colorations and light configurations on it. These seem to be more popular, so we do these most often. But it doesn't take too long. Figure about maybe an hour's work on each box. And we try to mass produce maybe 5 to 10 of them at a time. Get it all in there. There's a dragon climbing out of a box. Pretty awesome. You just gotta get those charcoal edges so they don't leave black marks everywhere, so you make sure you coat them. And we're getting close to being done. So this is them after they all hardened up. We're going to join the lid with them. So the lid just slides right in there. Perfect. Here's another one for you. Nice fancy imagery. And the nice thing is these are made so that you can put your card boxes will fit in there. Everything will fit in these. So if you do any of the different card games, Yu-Gi-Ohs and stuff like that, they'll all fit in there. They hold several thousand cards, a couple of deck boxes for you to see. And just set right in, perfect. Some people put dividers into them, totally okay to do that. A little bit bigger card box. And there's room for your dice and everything else that you might have, any of your counters. You see off to the right there's a little treasure chest. We also do liar dice sets. So there's our bigger artifact of containment box. And the smaller one is we use for the D&D games and stuff like that. You'll see when we open that one up. It actually has pick foam, so it's half-inch pick foam. And then on the left side there is, we pour liquid rubber into it. So we have a really bouncy dice tray for you. Pretty awesome. But yeah, it's just a liquid rubber pour that we do, and then you put your dice, you put your minis in there, and it makes everything really bounce around, which is awesome. Very cool, very cool. There you go. Thank you for watching. Super appreciate it.